Hello everyone, VanguardOfValor here, and welcome back to another episode of Banished. In the last episode here, Xanadu, our lovely little town, has started to grow some new expansions. We've extended across the river over here so we can start cutting down trees in a whole new world, deforesting all manner of new things. We have got ourselves dug a tunnel through the mountain. Not that it's super productive or anything, but it means we have some nice continuity here with our roads. And we started production of a school over on this side to educate our young. We've expanded our population up to a wonderful 44 people, which will hopefully continue to grow as our food stores stay high. And generally, our town is just doing pretty well. We have a pretty good number of vital items, keeping ourselves healthy and happy, and hopefully we'll be able to start doing some other valuable things in the future. For now, though, we're going to start our world moving again. We're already at late autumn. We're just about at the start of winter for year number 6. So our civilization is doing quite nicely as it happens. Hopefully we get a milder winter this year, as the previous years have been quite cold for our little town of Xanadu here. We've had some problems with running out of firewood quite quickly. We've extended our fuel limit up to 300 to deal with the fairly large population we have now, but winter has struck, so we're going to have to deal with it as it comes. The weather's staying pretty warm though, so while it's snowing a lot, the ground is not that snowy yet. Well, there it goes. There it goes. We'll see how long the snow lasts this year. It's already starting in late autumn, so we might have to deal with it into the spring. We have a lot of different pieces of production going on. People are dealing with iron and stone from various places around our bases. A lot of trees are being grown back in here, as we can see. There are lots of little saplings that are growing up. Very nice, because then this place will be much more useful for gathering plants and getting animals from, because I believe the animals prefer to be in areas with trees. I have no real proof of that, though, because in my earlier gameplay I had lots of animals that would just hide out in large open areas for whatever reason. Fairly unclear as to what their actual motivations are, but if it's actually programmed anything other than move randomly around. In fact, I don't even know if they need to be near hunting cabins to be hunted, or if the hunting just happens automatically, but we'll see, I guess. So, we're looking pretty good here. We're getting a good amount of stuff out. We have turned both of the cutting off in our Forester's Lodge, because we don't actually want them to cut down any more trees right now. We do want to expand a little bit more. But really what we want to start doing... I love when these guys move through the lake like it's not even there. I think it's meant for crossing rivers, but it still works for larger bodies of water, which I think is hilarious. Let's increase the priority here so we actually get this school finished soon. What are we low on? Wood. Oh wow. We have no wood and no firewood. Let's slow down our time here. That is going to very quickly become a problem as we can actually get some more wood in, because not having any firewood in the winter is not the greatest situation. We have 14 built laborers now, though, which is outrageous. I didn't even notice we had that many. Alright, we need to do some serious deforestation. Let's prioritize this stuff. Make sure that our laborers are actually doing good work. Problem is, it's so far away, it takes them a long time to bring things back. That should help make sure that we actually get all these things cut down, though, so that our people don't get too cold. I'm not liking this. Not liking this at all. You know what? I'm going to turn on the cutting protocol again for our Forester's Lodge. It might slow things down for a little while, but hopefully it'll make it so that we can actually make it through this winter. Because if we get cold now, we might not be able to recover again. Let's turn the time back up again and see if we can make it. If people start dying from exposure, getting sick, or what have you, we could be in serious trouble. Thankfully, we have a pretty good stockpile of herbs and medicine, which should help keep people from getting sick from the cold. But we'll have to see how they handle it. Very few logs in town, though, which is not good. Thankfully, this winter is fairly mild. It's not super cold, so the odds of, even if this house doesn't have any wood in it because it's a new home, most people should be okay. They should have a pretty good backlog of fire logs? Pretty good backlog of firewood. And the people who live in them, there's only one person. Edwig should be able to drop into other houses to stay warm, I believe. I believe that they do that. Anyway, for now we're just going to let them cut down these trees and hopefully replant before we completely lose all of our herb potential. We've already made it through the worst of the winter, though, so we should be okay, and these guys should start heating up again soon. So we shouldn't be in too much trouble. But check out Edwig here. He's actually doing okay. He's perfectly healthy and perfectly happy. He's just a little cold. It is snowing again, which might be a problem later, but for now it's fine. Okay. People deforest and move out this entire place. I'm thinking we're going to use this area here in the future for farming in. We will start filling that up with fields eventually. It seems like a pretty good place to put our farms. But for now, we're not going to worry about that kind of thing. Not at all. We have 14 people in the laborer profession. And we're probably going to need more, even while we gather more resources here. Iron isn't super critical anymore, but just go around. I knew that was going to happen. Just walk across the gap. But we definitely need more stone and more wood. The problem is that if we don't have them, it makes it very difficult to survive things like winters. We are starting to go through more food, too. It looks like we're starting to hit the point where we do not have enough. So we're going to put people back into gathering and hunting jobs, cap out those positions so we can get as much food from them as possible. So we hopefully don't plummet too quickly in our stored food supplies. We should be okay here. For now, we want one of these people to become our teacher once we get our school finished. Hopefully that happens soon. I think the problem was logs. And we're going to want to start building some more infrastructure-based buildings soon as well. Specifically, we're going to want to start building our market, our town hall. Our market's probably going to be in this area over here. We don't want to be too far away. I'll probably extend this down and put the market over here. I'll put another homes district on this side, probably. Because I don't want to encroach on our valuable food resources and whatnot over here. Not too much, anyway. So once this all gets finished, we might start building some more of this stuff. Specifically, we're going to be probably building a town hall. I'm going to build a well now before I forget, because if we have any fires, the well will help us fight them. We'll put a well down there to help deal with anything in this area. And I'll probably put one over on this side as well at some point. For now, we don't really need one over here, though. This well near the center should be more than enough to deal with the majority of our town. So that is good. We are still having some serious firewood and wood problems, though, which I'm not liking. I could make another woodcutter, but the problem is we just don't have enough wood. It's not so much that people are cold, because there's not enough wood being produced. We just don't have enough wood to make it into firewood. There we go. People are starting to deal with the problems coming and getting new firewood. We should be okay. We are also probably going to be making a town hall. Town hall is good for getting a lot of other information from our town. We're going to probably make a chapel soon as well, if we can afford that massive amount of stone and iron and wood. And we're probably making a cemetery soon as well, because we are getting into later years, and people are going to start dying of old age eventually. We check our oldest houses here. They're up to about 50 years old. Oh, we had a death. Liss the Hunter was trampled by a wild boar. That's an unfortunate death. Sorry to hear that, Liss. Very sad. We've had our first death. Not exactly a catastrophe, mind you, but still our first death, which is kind of sad. I think I might start putting some foresters areas in here just for now to get some trees back, but we don't really want to have people doing that kind of job right now. Our food stores are still quite stable. I want them to finish this, though. Come on, guys. Put a couple more builders in here. What else are we building? Is the school? I thought that was pretty much it. Why do we need 6 builders? I'm a bit confused about that. Not sure where our builders think they're doing. Not sure at all. But hey, Cariella became an adult, so that's something good. Alright, I'm going to put down a couple more houses. I think we're starting to get to the point now where we can't afford to just build more houses wantonly. But I'm going to build 2 more, and that's probably where we're going to stop off with houses for a little while, since we are getting to the point where we're going to need new ways of getting food to support that. Hang on. Why can't I build this road? There we go. I must have been clicking into the house or something there at the end. And that way we should be able to expand a little bit more. We're up to 50 people now, which is basically more than 5 times what we started with. So that's nice. At least. It will be, eventually. We are starting to build our house, though, which is good. We probably want to take these builders off again soon, but we are building houses and stuff as well, so I might as well leave them on here for now. We're still having trouble keeping our firewood up, though, which is definitely a problem. We're also not really producing a surplus of anything, which is a bit of a concern as well. If we can get things like a surplus of coats and tools and whatnot, which would be easier if we actually had them constantly making them, of course. We can try and do some trading later. I think I'll put someone back in the blacksmith, and tools will be our main trading resource. So I'll put the cap up to 250 for now. So they can just keep making tools, using up our iron and our wood, and then we can trade those for valuables later on. School I want to get finished, though. Come on. Finish up our schoolhouse, guys. But it's some education for these kids. We have 20 children here. 20 children who could be learning valuable things. I like to look at these buildings, though. Like, got little crops of things here. Got some sunflowers. Our gatherer's hut has some like piles of potatoes or something. Got a lookout tower for our foresters for some reason. A hunter's lodge. Nice looking place. What else can we look at over here? We've got our tanners with lines of places for things to dry. Our woodcutters. Our blacksmith with his anvil. I like it. A couple more children being born from our new houses. It's good. Oh no, the new houses aren't built yet. Our barns are pretty straightforward. There's our wells. We can make sure that we have access to water in a hurry if we need it. And our school should be finished. There it is. Alright. It's a nice little school. Feels very, like, country-y, I guess. We need a teacher to work there to teach our children. And gradually, these kids should start becoming students. It seems to me that... at first I thought it was fairly random whether or not kids became students, but I'm starting to understand now. As I understand it, kids become students when they reach a certain age. If they're too young, they can't become students, but once they get older, they can, so they do. And that's basically all there is to it. It's mostly based on age. So, if we sell herbs and tools, we could probably afford to have a trading depot soon. Good amount of food supply still. We're not really running into problems on that front yet, so that's good. I think the next thing we're going to work on building, though, is our church. We don't really have the stability for... There we go, starting to get some students. Our church and our graveyard are our next goal here, because that'll help us not get real happiness dips from random deaths or whatever happens. We'll build them right by the school, because there's nothing better than that kind of morbidity. And then a town hall is something else we definitely want to. We don't have enough stone for these kinds of things, though. We're just low on resources all around. We have plenty of laborers now. We can even take the guys off the building, so there's no point in having them there. And just clear-cut more of the ground, but... we really need more resources. Really, really. Alright, let's just keep cutting. Which is not something you want to hear someone say if they weren't in a good mood previously. But, let's just cut down all these things, get all those stones. There we go. And we should be in a pretty good spot if we can get all that stuff in here. Now, we're getting low on firewood again, since we have so many houses. I might actually need to make another woodcutters now, because we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18. We have 20 homes now. 20 homes, that's awesome. We're actually looking pretty good here, but we really are going to have a hard time keeping up with our firewood demand with 20 different homes. So, we're going to build another woodcutters. Which is here. Woodcutters. I think we're just going to rotate around and stick it on the side right there. There we go. It's kind of unfortunate not having some symmetry there, but we do want another woodcutters so we can keep up. Otherwise, we are going to be in trouble. So let's quickly high-speed this. Actually, before I do that, I should high priority it first, so our builders actually come build it. We should probably put some builders in there so we actually have some people to come build it, otherwise it's going to be quite hard. It's so easy to forget those kinds of things need to be done. But yeah, okay, our forester... we have 200 log limit. Oh, thank you. Higher. Why is there any limit on logs? We got 500,000. 1,000 log limit. There we go. That's better. Food limit 55,000 is rather fine. There's no real reason to having a limit to the food, because you can always have more. But there are some things you want to limit early on, like how much of your wood gets turned into firewood. Because otherwise, they'll just keep turning all of your resources into firewood, which might not be what you want. For now, though, we're looking pretty good. We have a bunch of students. People are actually using the tunnel, surprisingly enough. I kind of assumed they'd all just go over the top, but nope, that's not the case. We have 3 students, which isn't great, but gradually more of our kids will become students. The main thing is that educated people do their jobs better. So we want to have educated people. Apparently some of these guys are educated already, which is very surprising, considering that we haven't actually had a school to educate them with. Maybe you start with a bunch of educated people? No, he's not educated. So maybe some of the starting people were educated, so we can use them to teach the new people. So that's good. That's good. I always wondered how you could start a school out of nothing if none of the people were educated to begin with, so I guess that explains it. Some of them were educated. Once this is done, we'll be able to hopefully deal with our firewood problem. Thankfully, I guess we had enough of a reserve in the homes that people are doing okay. Even though we don't really have a lot of firewood to give them, they're able to get enough from previously in the year to keep their supplies high. Well, this will do for now, I guess. We're cutting down a lot of trees in here, too, which is nice. The foresters replant them once they're gone. The other interesting thing about the forester's hut is that it will remove things like iron and stone that are in the way in order to plant new trees. So if you have obstacles in the area, it will actually clear them up for you, which is pretty cool. Low on firewood, that's fine. We'll deal with this later. More students. Joaquin. Good job, Joaquin. Put your education first. Finish this, please, woodcutters. I really need more woodcutters. This is our builder's menu, interestingly enough, before the building is finished. There we go. Now we have another woodcutter. That's going to burn through our wood stores really fast, but should keep our firewood pretty high. 2 woodcutters is a pretty common necessity, it seems to me, at this point in the game, because as you get more houses, you just need more firewood to keep them warm. We might need to start building up more forestry. I'm going to build another set of resource gatherers over here, another set of, what do we call them? Words. Another gatherer's hut, that's one I need, there we go. So we'll put our gatherer's hut somewhere in here. That seems fine to me there. Gatherer's hut. And we're going to put another hunter's lodge. Face that against it. Let's zoom in here a little bit. Put the gatherer's hunting cabin, rather, right over here. That'll do. And we're going to put another... do we want a forester's lodge over here too? Why not? We'll put another forester's lodge over here too. We don't need a lot of people in the forestry profession, but it's good to have some people so we can make sure that we keep our trees high, and it gives us a nice easy source of additional lumber over time. And we want a herbalist over here too? Maybe later. For now we don't really need it, so we'll just put that down for now, and we'll put a road to connect them to the rest of our stuff. Road. Except now that the trees are growing, it's a bit harder to place the road. There we go. And that can come over here to connect. There, maybe. I can always remove the road later if it gets in the way, but that way everything is nice and connected. Perfect. I might want to start replacing these things with stone roads once I have mines that give us a nice, more permanent source of stone, since stone roads do make people move significantly faster again, but for now we don't really have the luxury of that kind of thing, so we're not going to mess around with it. Surprisingly enough, our firewood production is actually still not enough to keep up with the people we've got here, which is kind of worrying. Now that it's warming up, we should be able to do it no problem, but this is not the best. Levant, how are you doing? Your health is getting bad. Levant is cold and is finding someplace warm, yeah. With our various warm houses, we should be fine still, since it's... people aren't locked in their homes, but this home is too cold for people to live in safely, so people have to go to other people's houses, which isn't exactly what we want. Okay, well, we're looking pretty good here. We want to get more stone, more wood, so we can try and build the buildings I want to build, but for now, we just really have to kind of spend some more time. Get lots of civilians, lots of citizens, which is great. Building some more stuff over here. This is going to take up a bunch of stone, which is kind of counterproductive, but that's fine. It'll give more people jobs to do as well, which is nice. And it'll help deal a little bit better with our wood problems. If we take a look at things like our Forester's Lodge, we can actually check how much wood it's produced, which is not a whole lot, given that it's really just taking down what logs we find in the area. Have we actually clear-cut everything here successfully already? Let's take a look at our cut trees. That button, cut trees. There we go. Can I tell them? Yeah, they've actually basically cut down everything over here already. Let's tell them to harvest this area then, if I haven't already. You can tell which ones are new. Yeah, I've already told them to harvest that entire area. The problem is it's so far away. I could harvest some of these trees, it'd be a lot nicer. I think what we're going to do is we're going to harvest this section here. There we go. Harvest that section. Collect stone from this section as well. I'm going to tell them to grab all the stone over here, because that's a nice, fairly close deposit that we can grab. And we do need a lot of stone for what we want to do soon. So we're going to get them on that. We have a lot of laborers, so even if they don't prioritize any area in particular, they should be able to get a lot of resources for us pretty quickly that way. Because we really want to start building up some more of this stuff. Having more educated children will be very useful in that respect, but we still want to get more going for us here. Alright. Well, this kind of stuff will eventually get done. We have a lot of laborers, not a lot of builders though, so I'm going to put a couple more people in the building tasks so we can get our constructions finished a little bit quicker, and hopefully we'll be able to move on. This has kind of been a not super productive episode because we need more resources, and we're going through them quicker than we can really get hold of them, especially wood. That's always a problem with wood though, especially since really like this is one unit of logs, I think. You don't get a whole lot of logs from each tree you cut down. It can be a problem, alright. Like, these foresters' lodges are not the most productive as far as wood is concerned. We can put more people in them and then they'd be a bit better, but even then they're not the best. We can cut down these trees as well, but that's still not a huge additional amount of wood. Just harvest some trees from over here. There we go. And that stone's already marked for removal. Well, with what we have, do we have enough for our church at least? No. Do we have enough for our town hall? No, not at all. Alright, so we need to keep working on these things, otherwise we're just not going to get anywhere with them. Beverlyn! Beverlyn! Kennesandy! What a name that is. Beverlyn and Kennesandy. I feel kind of sorry for you guys. Alright. We want to build some more roads over here to get people over there quicker. So let's try that. That might help with our whole, well, that's weird. I have to manually build it. Oh, not? Why not? There we go. This should help with our resource gathering from over here. There we go. Not sure how effective this is going to be, but it seems to me like a good idea to get some kind of pathing out to these far-off resources. What? Oh, there's a rock in the way, isn't there? Yeah, right there. Alright, well, we're going to build this road out this way as well, give us access to these far-off areas. These roads are already built, which is great. We need a lot more builders now, though. We have a lot more students. We're up to 9, which is very nice. Alright, I think this is going pretty well. I think these roads are probably a good idea. This should help people get all the way out to our various resources much quicker once they're actually built. In the meantime, we're going to quickly boost up the number of builders we have to 8, maximize what they actually want, so we can do things a bit quicker. As it is, we're a bit hard-pressed to build all these various constructions. So we'll speed up time here to times 10. It's probably going to jump us very quickly into winter. We have 209 firewood prepared, which is not bad, and our 2 woodcutters should keep up with our demand. How old are our oldest people now? Oh, hang on. That's not the right one. That's okay. They're not yet 70 yet. Once the people get close to 70 years old, I find they wind up dying of old age at that point. So we have a bit of time left before that starts to be a concern. We want to have our graveyard built before that happens, though, because otherwise it's going to make it trickier for us to keep our happiness up as people start dying more regularly. We have a pretty good interconnected map here, though. Lots of different stuff going on. City's expanding. Looking good. Bring it back down to times 5. We still are low on wood, though. I think it's because we're starting to actually build these buildings over here since we have such a massive workforce now. Yeah, they're starting to bring logs over here, which is why we're getting lower on them, which is fair enough. Alright. So that'll keep happening here, and then we'll be able to keep working. Also, since I took so many laborers away, that's probably another reason, let's put some more laborers back at work here. We kind of need them, otherwise we'd be in a bit of trouble if we run out of resources to actually build this stuff and to survive the winter that's about to happen. So, let's Keep this up. Here's winter. It's starting to get cold. We're up to almost 300 firewood, which might be enough to last us, like, maybe until the middle of winter. And then we're going to run into production problems again. We're not at the fuel limit anymore, guys. Keep working. You should be fine now. We're down to 179. There we go. Game realized it was making a mistake. Fair enough. Reserve of logs is low. You bet it is. Alright, good. These buildings are getting their production started. That should boost our food income again. Then we can hopefully expand a bit more. Oh, wow. We're up 50 clothes. Alright, let's boost this limit up to 250. We don't really need leather for anything else as far as I can tell, so there's no reason to not make more of them, and we can always use them for trading if we actually have enough supplies to do it. So that's always nice. We have more children being students. That's great. There's a maximum of 20 students in each school, so we may need to build another school if we get more than that in children active at one time in the school. I'm not too worried about that right now, though, because it seems fairly unlikely. We don't have enough of an influx of children to really need that much education just yet. All I really want them to do is finish off these buildings. There we go. We have another gatherer's hut. We need to put more people into them to really take out the full potential, but as we can work more locations, that'll make things better for us too. We're low on logs and firewood pretty badly, but we are getting through the winter. Nobody's cold yet, which is good, so we do still have a supply, even though it is very low. Our logs are getting quite low, though, which is a problem. We're going to put more people on the labor force. We don't need quite as many to keep building these hunting cabins and whatnot. We're out of firewood now. It is late winter, though, and it's already getting warmer, which is good. Snow on the ground is going away gradually, and we're looking pretty solid here. Let's bring ourselves back down to 5 times time. People using these roads. Here's an interesting tool you can use, actually, to see how people are getting around in your map. This one here, the Paths tool. If you click on a home, it'll tell you how the people who live in that home get where they need to go. So these guys aren't taking the roads, they're taking a shortcut around this way, which is interesting. Same for them, same for them. Anybody else taking unusual paths? These guys are all shortcutting across there, so we might need to build something to accommodate that. These guys are taking the paths to school and to the woodcutters. Anything else? You guys aren't working? People mostly follow the road there. Well, no, they don't. They kind of cut across that way, but whatever. So as we can see, this is not the most efficient area. Because the roads don't connect properly, people are cutting diagonally across. People are using the roads for some of the way, though, which is better than nothing. So, I guess these people are all laborers? Yeah, laborers and children. That's why they don't have anything listed as far as their pathing. But it's interesting to take advantage of that, because it shows you some of the paths people take to get around. It doesn't show you everything, of course. Like, it doesn't show you how people get to the resources that they're cutting down as laborers, because they change all the time. But it shows you how they get from their homes to their jobs, which is pretty interesting, I think. We can also see a map of the area, which is kind of interesting. Shows us what our entire region looks like. We can spin it around, then it'll change our little viewport here. Is there anything else in here I should mention? This is kind of interesting. This is an easy way to check all of your resource limits at once. This isn't super important, really, because you can see it from any individual board, but that's something. You can make fast camera locations, which I haven't needed to bother with yet, because I've never had enough space on the map that I've needed to really be able to quickly travel. You can always just quickly jump back and forth, I've found. But yeah, there's some other. This is also something to do with having a town hall, I believe. It gives you census data on the map, or rather on the heads-up display. But we don't really need that at the moment. And we made it! We made it to spring again. Our hunting cabin is finished. All we have to do now is finish the forester's lodge, and it needs a bit of stone for that before that can happen. But still, that should help increase our food. We're actually getting a bit lower on food, which is interesting. We may have had a bad year for berries or for hunting or something like that this year, which might explain that. We have a lot of children coming in, though. Our population is still growing. These houses are not yet full, so the population is going to keep growing until that comes to be an issue. Now, I should double check here. People are starting to get old. They're going to be 60 and older, so we really want to get working on that graveyard. I might put the graveyard down before we have the church for now, and we'll just reserve some space for it. So the church, I think we're going to put the church, church is how big? Oh, it's quite large. That's why it takes so much resources. I think we'll put the church here in the corner by the school. We'll have another school rather in this space here. Actually, this is probably a better location for it. It'll fit nice and snugly with our road. It'll be quite nice. Kind of ominous building to be right beside our school like that. But, you know what? Whatever. We'll deal with it. I think that's probably a good place for it. I can put the cemetery in here. The thing about the cemetery is there's a maximum size on it again, so like you can't make it too enormous, and we also have that the 20 by 20 I think is the maximum size. It's an enormous cemetery. We have this mountain side in the way, so we can't make it super ginormous. I think what we will do though, too small, there we go. I think we'll make one that fills this space to about a 10 by 20 area. There we go. And that'll be our first cemetery. We're going to wind up needing more than one, but at least this will help cover our initial needs. So, I think we're going to wind up stopping this episode here for now. I got some problems, definitely low on logs all of the time, but such it is. With all of our firewood production, it's going to be a problem like that for a while. Either way, thank you very much for watching, everyone. This has been Vanguard of Valor, playing some Banished for you. Let's make sure we have enough people who work in these places. There we go. And this has been the adventures of the town of Xanadu. We have problems with our resource management, as tends to be the case. Either way, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, bye-bye.